morning, everyone, and welcome to EyeforTravel's webinar series. The next hour is going to include key industry insights presented by two expert speakers who will discuss the crucial topic of loyalty in travel. At a recent EyeforTravel North America Summit, 67% of attendees indicated that a desire for loyal customers was a #1 driver behind their distribution strategies. I guess the question really is, how can travel brands engage with customers to deliver an exceptional experience so they keep coming back? We thought it was time to learn more, and we've invited Noah Brodsky, Senior VP Worldwide Loyalty and Engagement at Wyndham Hotels, and Jay Flugel, VP of Product Customer Care at Expedia, to join us today. During this webinar, there will be 2 presentations, and we encourage you to contribute by asking lots of questions so we can facilitate an organic and productive discussion for our listening travel community. Noah will now start this webinar with a presentation highlighting the shift in loyalty that has occurred in the industry, as well as Wyndham's approach to loyalty. He will also go into the importance of two-way communication when engaging the customer and the advantage that hotels have in this space. Over to you, Noah.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to be here today and excited to talk about Wyndham and everything that we're doing in loyalty. And we set out to do nothing less than build the world's greatest loyalty program. And we're really excited about what we've accomplished. And I want to tell you a little bit about how we thought through the program that we launched and some of the successes and how we see the paradigm shifting within loyalty and how we're trying to stay on top and ahead of those changes. And a little bit of background about Wyndham. Wyndham Worldwide is the world's largest provider of hotels, vacation ownership, and exchange rental, and each of our 3 businesses is the largest of its kind. The Wyndham Hotel Group has a number of brands with great prominence throughout the U.S. and the world. We have over 8,000 hotels and brands like Wyndham, Wingate, Hawthorne, Super 8, and Days Inn. Our vacation ownership group has over 200 properties, making it also the largest vacation ownership group in North America as well as in Asia. And our exchange and rental business has a number of brands, particularly strong in Europe, with brands like Novasol, Ho Season, and Cottages, as well as the large exchange company RCI. And on top of all of that, we have Wyndham Rewards, which runs across our business units and is the #1 hotel rewards program by U.S. News and World Report. And that's something that we've earned over the last couple of years with all of the changes we've made to our program, and something we're real proud of. And as we started to look at our loyalty program and how we were going to make it a strong, relevant program, we really started at the scratch. And ultimately, we wanted a program that helps people feel like they're part of something bigger. As we looked at our brand, or really as we looked at brands in general, so many brands, especially in the travel and hospitality space, are selling products that have become increasingly commoditized over time. In the airlines are probably the best example of these, because an airline, when you take off the branding and you take off the hub cities, it's an incredibly similar product selling from brand to brand. And the airlines, for many years prior to the advent of loyalty, could really rely on exclusively on their brand marketing message to win customers over. They could create great advertisements. They could have really strong onboard branded products and experiences. And that was really enough, because it was such a one-way experience from the brand to customers. You, as a customer, experienced it a couple of times. Maybe you went back and told your friends, but that was really it. It was really a one-directional thing. And as we know, it has become increasingly two-directional. When I sometimes give this presentation and have videos, I used to show a video called United Stole My Guitar. United Broke My Guitar, which was it was the highest viewed video about United Airlines ever, and was built by a customer where United had broke the guitar from years ago, and United didn't do a great job about fixing that. I think that story is incredibly relevant today. It's obviously, as of this week, no longer the #1 viewed video about United, but certainly a story that we as marketers need to really think about all the time. as it's changed from just a pure one-way dialogue that you have with your guests to a two-way dialogue. And for us in the hotel business, it's just as true as it is in the airline business. We're selling a bed, and when you've got a comfortable bed, which I think all of the brands do now with once you turn the lights off, there's not a lot of differentiation in that room. And so for us to really stand ahead and to have a loyalty program that really made the difference, we knew that we needed to change. And we looked across the industry, we looked at what airlines were doing, at what other companies outside of travel were doing in the loyalty space, and we started from scratch. The very first thing we did is go out and talk to our customers, and we heard really strongly this first thing that, man, loyalty programs have gotten so confusing. They didn't used to be, but they are now. And, again, that starts with the airlines, where you have no idea on the big carriers anymore, anywhere in the world, really what you're going to earn or what you need to redeem. It used to be simple. It used to be in the United States with the big carriers for 25,000 miles, you could get a round-trip ticket anywhere, and you knew exactly what you needed. And that's just gone. It's gotten so complex to the point that some of the carriers don't even put an award chart online anymore. And hotels have certainly followed suit. One of the biggest players now has literally dozens of award redemption tiers. They change it based on the day of the week, the month of the year, the hotel. It's become to the point where it's almost impossible to know what it's going to cost to go redeem. The second thing we heard from our customers is that loyalty programs had become too unattainable. That if I actually want to stay in New York City, maybe on New Year's Eve or during spring break or summer break with the kids, the times I actually want to go and use my awards, that either the nights are blacked out or they're it's 100,000 points to get that free night. It's insanely expensive. And they've continued to devalue so that even the properties that used to be a good deal or the places where you knew you could get a great value, they're getting rid of all of those. And every time you think you've figured it out, something changes. That these loyalty programs are just full of tricks. And finally, and most importantly at all, when we ask customers who are frequent travelers, what do you want out of your loyalty program? They tell us overwhelmingly they want free nights. And we see this mirrored in our actual business performance. When we make free nights attainable and we make the program simple, we see the overwhelming majority, in fact, even higher than 89% of our points that are redeemed back for free nights. Because travel and hotel travel is really aspirational and can be really exciting. Our core customer and our everyday brands across Days Inn and Super 8 and Ramada, there's someone that's out there on the road for 50 or 100 days in the year. They might be a truck driver or a government employee or a construction worker. And when they're done working, what they want to do is they want to take their family on vacation. They want to show their family what they've been doing. They want to be treated special, and they want to take their kids out somewhere really cool. And they want to use those points that they've been working hard to earn all year for a free night. So that was this underlying research that we had that led us to say what we need to do with our program is come up with one really big idea, one really cool concept that's simple and easy to understand that connects all of this research together. And simplicity is important. I mean, so many great loyalty programs started really easy. Get 10, buy 10 and get one free. It's a simple concept that customers absolutely understand. And on top of that, it really is all about those free nights. That's what we've got to stay focused on. So when we reinvented our program, we launched it with this really simple value proposition. 15,000 points gets you a free night at any of our 8,000 hotels around the world. No tricks, no blackout dates, no changes. If there's a room available, you can get it for 15,000 points. And the response to this has been really, really overwhelming. Customers absolutely love it. We've seen participation in the program explode. We've seen redemptions go up significantly. We've seen engagements across every single channel go up. And that's been really important for us to capture, not just in that one-way communication, not just us telling our customers, but also in a real multi-channel, omni-channel view. And as we go out there in social, on paid, earned, and owned media, we want to make sure that we're talking about this value proposition and we're listening to what our customers have to say about it. And we're providing them with this incredible, simple, aspirational opportunity to redeem their Wyndham Rewards points for a great stay. And what we hear our customers telling us is exactly what we wanted. I can go out and spend the year working and staying on roadside hotels or in small towns where I've got a contract, and at the end of the year I can redeem my points to go somewhere aspirational like Branson, Missouri, or Orlando, Florida, or New York City, and I know that I'm only going to have to pay $15,000 points for that room, no matter what the price is. And that's such a simple value proposition. It's so attainable that I'm going to give Wyndham more of my business. And so that's the way we've really restructured our thinking around loyalty. That's the way we're going in this multi-channel, bi-directional communication with our guests, to say this is what you can get, and to show all of those stories of people getting great free nights back throughout the channels. So with that, I'm excited to take questions at the end of the panel, but I'll hand it back over to Renu to introduce the next speaker and take questions at the end.
Great. Thanks very much for that, Noah. Definitely a lot of food for thought there. A quick reminder to everyone listening, feel free to put forward your questions for discussion at the end as well. And next up, we have Jay from Expedia, who will be discussing increasing customer loyalty through effortless experiences, as well as covering Expedia's recent Travelocity and HCOM Facebook bots case studies. Over to you, Jay.
Thanks a lot. So I work inside of customer care. I head up product there, and many of you may know that we're very much a brand portfolio company. We have Travelocity, Orbitz, Expedia.com, Hotels.com, What If, etc. So I have an interesting vantage point in the company in that I'm a shared service, and I provide customer care to all those brands. And each of those brands has their unique loyalty play, their own goals around how they differentiate from themselves and their competitors. And it's up to me and a large team of product and technology folks to come up with a scalable platform and scalable customer service experiences, but that also have the ability to be tailored per brand. So what I wanted to cover today is, I imagine a majority of folks on the phone have heard or read the book, The Effortless Experience by the Corporate Executive Board. But there's some core principles in there that Expedia adheres to and is continuing to build experiences against. And the main principle is, if we all aimed for delight and full delight of a customer, and some of the stories we've heard around Nordstrom taking back tires and the great lengths that a Zappos rep will go to make sure someone ends up with the right pair of shoes, whether it's from the competitor or themselves. The studies across hundreds and thousands of companies are really that you can't at scale aim for total delight of the customer. You won't get the benefits back and the cost that it will take to fully tailor your experience. So the right customer loyalty play, the right way to turn a customer service experience in and help that turn the machine around repeat purchase and getting that customer to come back and buy another, book another trip with us. It's really about, you assume everybody who comes to customer service is already in a negative state of mind or at least neutral, and the best you can get them back is to be neutral. And the benefits above and beyond that, again, are diminishing returns in terms of customer loyalty, repeat purchase, etc. But what you can affect and what you can get hyper-focused on is, how can you reduce customer effort? How can you take steps out of a customer's process? How can you not have them pick up the phone when they had to call us in the past? Or when they do call us, how do you not ask for the same information they just entered on the website? So if you become hardcore about trying to remove any of that redundancy, any extra steps, having agents do things offline and getting back to the customer instead of making the customer stay on the phone while you call out to another supplier, etc. These are all things that you can control. They're quantifiable, and they help you in your ultimate goal about building more customer loyalty. So to Noah's point, we're not consistently having to start fresh where every time a customer wants to book a trip, they may have been an Expedia customer on a previous trip, but if they keep going back to Google or some other type of search to search for their next trip, and then they end up back on Expedia, we're then paying Google for a customer we should have already, we shouldn't have to reacquire each time. We should be able to turn them into a repeat purchaser by having them directly come to our site. So we believe customer service is not the only angle to that, but it's a big part of the equation. So with that focus on how can we build effortless experiences, how can we offer service to the customer in the ways they want it. So we've come up with a framework for how we think about any of our end-to-end customer service journeys or travel journeys. And for us in customer care, we really focus, we start the journey not necessarily on when they're thinking about booking. We have plenty of people in the company who think about that. It's really about from the time they identify they need service and what were all the steps we made them go through till they get their issue resolved. So step one of our framework is really make sure you have the data analytics to follow a customer across their journey. If they contacted us on social media or they were on the phone and they stayed in the queue too long, so then they emailed us, how do we know all the effort we made a customer go through to get their issue resolved? So number one is gaining those optics. Number two is just minimizing need for assistance in the first place. If there's something that can be done on the brand site, on the core booking site, that is confusing, or there could be, the brand site can go the extra mile to prevent an issue from happening in the first place, that's ideal for everybody. We don't want people to have to come to customer service, whether it's self-service or to an agent, we can just be proactive and not have them have an issue in the first place. Inevitably, they're going to be things, so number three, where they need assistance. So let's offer non-agent help and make it readily available. Classically, everyone's thought about this as web self-serve, maybe mobile self-serve, but increasingly with bots and other things, it's really about meeting the customer in the channel they prefer and also offering self-serve there as well and not having to bounce them back to the web or mobile to an agent. So when possible, offer non-agent help, because we have lots of industry data that the majority of customers would rather take care of something themselves than having to interact with an agent. And then number four says, there's going to be complex tasks where none of us are going to be able to completely get rid of our agents, no matter how good bots are, no matter how good AI is. We're going to have to take the call or take the social media private message, etc. So let's make it really easy for them to find out how to contact us, and offer multiple channels so everything doesn't look like a phone call or an email to them. We give them multiple options in how they want to receive customer service, and then we do a lot of work on the back end to make sure our agents really don't care how the communication came in, which channel. It doesn't matter if it was a Twitter private message or an email. We can just have it come through the same user experience, the same agent desktop, and they can just do what they do best, which is identify the customer's problem and get it resolved. And then how they get back to the customer is really just a channel choice. And we really don't want them to worry too much about that. And then at the bottom, we have different departments in that the brands are verticals within our company. And like I said earlier, customer care is a horizontal. So we really looked at, okay, what can we affect the most in terms of customer care? What can the brand do? And it's definitely a balancing act and a partnership. But the brand can do the most around minimizing the need for customer service in the first place. They can do things differently in their site. And then as you move across the framework, there's more things that we can control within customer care. And the ultimate goal is dramatically reduce customer effort. And I think we all would like to reduce our agent footprint over time. We have less agents and they're focused on the most complex tasks rather than doing a lot of simple tasks that take time and money that the customer could do themselves. I think it's a win-win for everybody. So what I want to do is walk you through, we recently shipped our first Travelocity bot, our first Facebook bot. And like I said, we support all brands. So we just happened to pick one particular brand whose main value prop and loyalty message is 24/7 service, in the channel of your choice. So we thought that would be a good starter brand for us to go after with a Facebook-focused experience. So I'm just going to walk you through the user experience and talk about some of the decisions we made to really reduce effort for customers. And we're just getting started. So I start off in the Travelocity mobile web app. We also did work to make sure this inside the mobile app itself. This is the mobile website. Inside the mobile app and on the desktop, you can get these same experiences. But I start with mobile web. I tap the hamburger menu in the upper right, customer support. And then I land on our new Contact Us page, and this will grow over time and offer more channels. But off the bat, we offer a phone number, and then we offer Facebook and Twitter. And the interesting thing we did here in this notion of being hyper-focused on how many clicks, how many steps can we remove from the process, we could have had message us on Facebook, just link to our Facebook page, and then they could scroll down, they could find the part where they can do a public post or comment, or they can launch into Facebook Messenger on their mobile phone and do a private message with us. And we just said, let's remove that. What would we prefer? What's the best scenario? Given that the customer to get service is going to have to give private information to us, so public channel doesn't make sense. Plus, our agents are best trained to handle one-on-one conversations, mostly phone, but one-on-one conversations with a customer. So let's deep link. If you tap on Message Us on Facebook, we get you right into Facebook Messenger if you have that app on your device. And we get right into a conversation with the brand, in this case, Travelocity. So that's the key. If you don't have it installed, we'll get you to the web-based, we'll get to the Facebook mobile web page in a browser, and we'll get you right into a message experience, a conversation with our brand. So we skip a bunch of searching around and trying to find the right link to start a conversation with us. And this is what Facebook Messenger shows if it's the first time you've started a conversation with a brand. And it just says, has our value prop on the bottom. We're here to help 24/7. And we have a messenger bot that can help you as well with some scenarios. Let's get started. So I tap Get Started and immediately given a menu to either cancel a booking or message an agent. And over time, we'll expand these use cases. But if I choose Cancel Booking, it'll then ask me for some identifier, email address, phone number, itinerary number. And then I'll type in my email address. And it says it found multiple bookings. So we end up using the carousel view in Facebook. So you can quickly flip left to right to flip through all of your upcoming trips. And I decide I want to cancel this Flamingo Las Vegas trip. So I tap on the first option, Cancel. And it says it needs to do an extra level of authentication. So what's the billing zip code? I type in that, and it says you can cancel this booking for a full refund. So this is a hotel. It's fully refundable. There's no non-refundable. There's no penalty waivers, etc. There's no conversations between us and the supplier like Wyndham. This is just a straightforward, you can do this on the website as well, simple cancel. So we say we can cancel this booking for a full refund. Do you want me to proceed? And yes, or you can start over, or you can get right to message an agent. So if this was an IVR, imagine this is us not hiding the option of if you press 0, you get straight to an operator. We're just front and center saying if you want to message the agent right now, you can. And the key thing here is it's a seamless handoff. So if I hit message agent, all of the context of what I tasked before this gets passed to the agent. So it's not a fresh conversation with the agent where the first question they ask is, what's your itinerary number? What are you contacting us about? It would tell them this is a hotel cancel for this itinerary, but the customer has a question. So that's key here is don't make the customer repeat themselves. Our mantra is don't make the customer be their own case manager. It's not their job to get our agents up to speed from call to call on what happened before. Our software should do that. So I say, yes, I want to proceed. It's been canceled. Here's your refund. It'll take 5 days to process it. Can I help you with anything else? And I actually have another thing I want to talk to them about around a flight. So I choose message agent. And right away, it hands off to an agent and says, I'll get a customer service representative to help you momentarily. To better assist you, let us know what you're contacting us about. And so, here's another example of AI where I can say I misspelled my name when I booked my flight. And on the back end, we can figure out, okay, what was the customer's intent and route it to the right agent who really handles flight name correction, which is actually it's a beast of a scenario. It's a terrible customer service experience between us and the airline when it happens. So we actually have specialized agents that handle it. So we would use AI on this free-form text to get them to the right agent. And then the agent responds, thanks for providing this information. I'll make that change. The name's been changed. I say, awesome, thanks. And then the agent's able to hand back to the bot, and the bot says, okay, we'd like to take a survey. Would you take it? And it's a quick 3-question survey. The first question is kind of a typical NPS-like question about how likely are you to recommend. The next one is, did we actually resolve your issue? And did we do it in a timely manner? And thanks for your feedback. And basically what I showed today was offering multiple text-based channels on top of a voice channel, so meeting customers where they want to be met and what the trends are in the industry instead of forcing them down a particular path because we're really good at answering phone calls. Showing a Facebook bot that can do self-service. So for use cases where we've completely wired it up and we can automate it, let's do that so they never have to talk to an agent, but it's in an app they're familiar with like Messenger. I also showed seamless agent to bot handoff and back and forth where context gets passed so they don't have to repeat themselves. That's key. That's really, we feel like the innovation we added in this first version was really starting to get that right. And we're working out the kinks, but in general, we found people like that kind of on-road to the agent without having to start from scratch. And then real-time customer survey in the channel. So before this, we send out an email with 24 hours, 72 hours after an agent interaction. We try to stitch that back to say, did the customer get the issue resolved? It's very out of band, very not real time. And this is an example where we were able to use Facebook's web mechanism to show a survey inline, 3 quick questions, and we'll get real-time signal that we can use even in the next social media post that day to better improve our software and our response times. So that's it for me. It's really about taking an effortless experience lens to everything you do inside customer care and assuming that customer care is a big part of the flywheel to get the customer to repurchase with you. And if you become very passionate and hyper-focused on every step a customer has to take, you'll start to realize there's ones you can easily take off the board with software and delight them that way instead of having to go above and beyond per customer. And that's it for me.
Great, thanks so much, Jay. So yeah, I guess we've got a couple of questions which have been coming through. The first one is for Noah. Has Wyndham given thought to incorporating unique or local experiences to enhance the stay? Maybe not as redemptions, but giving rewards members access to local experiences as a perk for being a loyalty member, i.e. like Airbnb?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we have, and let me tell you about our program that we have that's all about local perks. So for our member levels programs, which when you join Wyndham Rewards, you start at blue, and then you progress up to gold, platinum, and then diamond is with 40 nights. We wanted to do something a little different to be a little more innovative as well in the member levels experiences, and our focus has been entirely around local perks. So we have this program which is called Go Free Plus. And a Go Free award is that 15,000 points equals a free night. And one of the things that we heard in research, and I talked about this in the story of many of our customers, is that people are redeeming these free nights for vacation frequently, and they also tell us that the redemption night is their most important night of the year. That it's actually way more important to them to be treated well and to have a great experience when they're redeeming with their family than when they're there for business and they may only be at the hotel for a couple of hours. And they also told us that other companies do the worst job on redemption experiences, and airlines got brought up again where redemption tickets aren't upgradable, or you can't get non-stops when doing redemptions, you can only get connecting flights. So we wanted to make sure that the redemption experience was awesome, and that the redemption experience was a way for you to actually experience the local community where you're going. So we created this program called Go Free Plus, And the way it works is at each level of our membership, when you redeem an award in one of our top 25 destinations, and that represents almost 900 hotels, so it's a huge number of hotels, that you get on top of your free night, you get an extra award. And for our Diamond members, that extra award is actually 2 free tickets per night to a local attraction, and those tickets are valued between $50 and $100 per ticket. So examples of that are tickets to go to a local Six Flags amusement park, or to go indoor skydiving in New York. It's a pizza walking tour you can go take, or go see the Great Wall of China when you're staying in Beijing. Those are fulfilled through a partner that we work closely with. So it's free for our Diamond members, and it's a discount for all of our other members. So everybody gets that access to local experiences, and we email those out to people as they're in their trip planning stage, so that they can actually include that in their itinerary as they're planning their vacations. So a really exciting program for us that we see a lot of uptake and usage on.
Okay, great. Another one for you, Noah. With regards to the Wyndham new loyalty program, do you think that points is really making customers loyal, or just choosing you more often? Is real loyalty not being okay with paying some more, or having to wait a little longer, or having a mistake happening without complaining directly to the manager, dropping your scores on your satisfaction surveys, or even worse, running to the competition and never coming back?
That's a great question. I think it gets at it gets at a difference between what you just heard from myself and from Jay. Obviously, many of the suppliers continue to be very focused on their loyalty programs, which provide not just points but also experiential benefits on property, like upgrades, late check-in, late checkout. That's the place that hotel companies and travel suppliers can really differentiate themselves from their OTA partners. And so you continue to see across all of the industry a tremendous amount of focus on enhancing and improving these programs, to the point where they have become really rich for frequent traveling guests. It would be crazy to not be in one of these to get all of that value. Absolutely, service is table stakes. If you have some of those examples, if you have a dirty room or a bad experience or anything else, it's absolutely got to be resolved. I think that loyalty can help make the difference between somebody saying, I'm done with you forever, and somebody saying, I'll give you another shot after you screw up. I think loyalty points can be a great way to reward your best customers and say, look, I can't make up for the fact that your room wasn't ready when you got there, but what I can do is give you some points towards your next day. And people understand that currency has real value, and that is a great way of maintaining that strong customer relationship you have when things don't go exactly as you wanted them to the first time.
Thanks. Jay, this is one for you. Compliments to Expedia's Travelocity bot, making artificial intelligence sync with real interactions whenever needed. Do you think the NPS is still relevant? Do you think I will really recommend, or just say I would? Would it not be more interesting to ask something that could give you a real insight in your customer's mind instead of something so overarching?
Yeah, we toy with that all the time. I mean, we have a lot of rigor around NPS as a company. So it feels like as we start to introduce new surveys and new channels, it would be negligent of us to leave that question behind. But to be honest, we're really focused. Like, we're changing these questions often. I think even the ones I showed are out of date, in that we're really focused on how much effort did you have to expend. Like, it's our belief that if something takes 36 hours to resolve and it's not urgent, it's just the customer needs to take care of an issue before travel, and they didn't have to spend any of that on the phone, but it takes 36 hours, and along the way they're like, okay, an agent's working on this. That's fine. People just want to be able to fire off mails or fire off posts and just say, someone else take care of this and let me get back to me when you need me. So, really, NPS feels like table stakes for us to ask, but we're looking at what are the other nuanced questions we can ask to really help us go after the did you find that painful? How, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how painful was it? Like looking for opportunities to really improve and make it effortless.
Okay. Another one for you, Jay. What other self-service channels you have evaluated to reach customers that might not have Facebook?
That might not have what? Sorry?
That might not have Facebook.
Oh yeah, so we I can go on and on, but we've done channel preference tests, we call them, where we'll actually put a version of that contact us page I showed with other options on there that if you tap them, it just says coming soon, just to get the signal to say what would a customer pick first. And we've ranged from the different social networks in the Asian markets, from Line to WeChat to Kakao Talk. We've included a native chat option as well, and we expect that chat to not be kind of your classic, okay, I'm entering a chat room waiting for an agent to join, and then if I leave my machine for more than 5 minutes, then the cookie expires and I have to start from scratch again. How do we implement chat in a native way that feels modern? It feels like Facebook Messenger, where I can send a chat message right before I walk into 3 hours of meetings, and then I come out later on and asynchronously an agent has responded to me. So we put a bunch of options on there, and we definitely found that it ranges anywhere from 40 to 80% of customers, depending on region of the world, who would prefer a non-voice channel. So we're definitely just getting started with Facebook, but it's not going to be the only option, and we want to have an option that feels like Facebook in terms of the conversation pattern and the asynchronous nature, but doesn't require them to be part of Facebook and have a separate app on their machine. So, stay tuned. We have more coming over the course of the year.
Great, thanks for that. Noah, this one's for you. What technologies does a hotel need to do all the loyalty practices Wyndham is suggesting? Could a hotel enable such a program with a PMS and CRM?
Yes, they certainly can. A PMS that's connected up to the Wyndham CRS can give the property the capability to see who's checking in and what level they are. But what's far more important than technology is training, and that's training on understanding the program, what the perks are by member level, how to talk about it, and how to make sure that guests are engaging with it while on property. So while we certainly have a track on technology and constantly coming up with not just the table stakes of having a connected PMS and adding in some various digital and app-based technologies for guests to connect with us directly, but we spend an equal amount of time really focused on training our front desk associates so that they really understand the program and can execute it excellently every day.
Great. This one's for Jay. I am always pleased with new approaches of Expedia, and I encounter them the next time I want to reserve. Do you inform customers/members about them via email, for example?
We do. It depends on the type of feature. So we very much have an experimentation culture here. So there's a lot of things we're trying. We'll try on one brand, or we'll try in one region for one brand. And while we're still gathering signal and seeing what works and iterating on it, we're less apt to broadly announce that the feature's available, and we'll look for more natural discovery. So for example, this Contact Us that I'm showing, we have a lot of work to do with the brands to say, once we have a set of channels that the right set of channels, like the previous question around Facebook, chat, email, whatever that mix is, along with voice, then, and we have self-service bots within them, then the brand should have no reason to want to suppress and make it, a little bit hard to find Contact Us in lieu of self-service, because it doesn't matter if you pick Facebook and you run into a bot and you can do all the same use cases you could do in web self-service. It doesn't matter. Let's make it easy for the customer. So right now we're in this particular feature that I showed, we're doing a little bit more grassroots. Travelocity may run a TV ad or some other ad about it at some point, but it's kind of on a case-by-case basis how much we push to customers. But once we're ready and we feel we're ready for broad adoption, I would like to be aggressive on how we tell customers about it so they don't have to just naturally discover it.
Okay, great. Now, this one's for both Noah and Jay. Looking at where we are headed as an industry, so personalized but IT-driven, hence less personalization, how are you as an organization keeping your communication with the guests personalized as apart from algorithmic patterns of names and salutations?
Noah, you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, I think that personalization, as we think about that, has two components, an online and an offline component. And I'd say that's one of the biggest differences you'll hear between Jay and my answers, that, we're really focused equally, as I talked about with training, we're focused equally on the online or not face-to-face connections that we have with the guest, about understanding their reservation history and their preferences and where they might go next and what they're looking for, as we are with the on-property experience. And the best personalization you can get at a hotel is when you wake up in the morning on your second day and they already know how you like your coffee. And so for us, it certainly the digital aspects are important and something we want to get right, but we're also really focused on delivering great experiences every day on property that show that our associates are paying attention to our guests.
Yeah, and we're highly focused on personalization, even if a lot of it is software based. Our goal is not to turn the world into a bunch of automatons that they never get an agent to talk to. We think the biggest bang for the buck from our angle, because we don't have properties like Wyndham does, is really about, we sit on a mound of data. Like, we have an incredible data and analytics platform here, either vertically within brands, shared services, horizontally across all brands. And really, it's just use the data we have, because a customer service experience where, I can think of companies where I start and it's as if they've never met me throughout the whole experience. As I'm looking online, as I search their knowledge base, they don't even say, well, this itinerary has a hotel in it, so I'm only going to filter the topics down to hotels, because why would I even have you wade through a flight-related topic? Like, it starts with, the easiest level of personalization of just knowing what's part of the order, what was booked, and tailoring the experience based on that. If I have a non-refundable hotel, then don't show me any topics about how easy it is to refund myself online, because that's not gonna be true, and it's just gonna be annoying. The customer's gonna have to click. So really, our focus is how can we deliver effortless experiences that are really enhanced by the intelligence we have from suppliers, from what's happening in our contact centers, what's in their itineraries, what they've booked, their travel preferences, how they prefer to be communicated with, etc. So we have a ways to go, but that's where we think we're really going to be personalized, is whether they're talking to an agent or some kind of bot or automation or both. We just know everything we could possibly know about them, and they don't have to repeat it. So that's where we think we're gonna, and we know their loyalty status, which tier they're in, etc. That knowing all that information makes it feel personalized. Like, we did a feature that says, it was a test, but we said, what if we know if you were trying to change a hotel online, when you contact us and you get to our IVR, and when you get to an agent, so we put it inside the agent tool, we basically said, you called the IVR, and as soon as we identified you via phone number, we skipped our long tree of IVR options and started with, we see that you tried to perform a hotel change online 2 days ago. Is that what you're contacting us about? And we get like a 90% yes rate there. And we just saved that customer a bunch of traversing of IVRs to get to the same question. It's like, yes, I am calling back about that. Either they didn't complete the change online successfully, or they're calling back about that exact same hotel and they have another change they need to make. But that's the kind of idea where we're just pulling in data that we could already know about the customer and looking for the mini delight moments, not the huge ones.
Okay. We've got time for a couple more questions, but Noah, this one's for you. Do you offer rewards for referral bookings, example through social sharing, etc.? If so, how are those being tracked in your system?
The first half, do we rewards for what? For what bookings? For shareable bookings?
for referral bookings?
For referral bookings. So we do. We don't have a kind of custom a guest-to-guest referral program. We certainly do within the travel agent and professional travel manager industry, where we have a lot of work around B2B referrals, as well as in our group travel and space, though we don't have one specifically for individual customers who might have a friend staying with them. That said, I think there's a great opportunity to continue to leverage the power of social to get those referrals and word of mouth. We don't currently reward it.
Okay. And we have two more questions, and this one's for both of you. You've talked about creating a great user experience, whether on property or online. How important is customer identity, and how are you leveraging it to tailoring your user experience?
You should go first, Don.
Go for it.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure of the question. We have many different mechanisms where we try to figure out the identity of the customer, seeing what phone number they called in on, sharing email. We're building a database of which social handles you contacted us on. So if we see you again on that handle, we can personalize our greeting and not ask you to identify yourself. So we as a company support many different types of identity. We have features where you can create an account on Expedia or Hotels.com with your Facebook account or your Line account, social networking. So identity is very much at the core of what we do, and as part of that, trying to use as much intelligence as possible to customize experiences. It starts with identity, and so the better we get at identifying someone when they contact us without having to ask them, the better experience and faster experience we can offer them. So it's very much a top of mind for me.
Not much to add there.
Okay, no worries. And this is the final question, and it's to both of you once again. How often do you run into a guest that thought they were calling the hotel, but instead is calling Expedia or vice versa? And how can hotels, together with hotel brands, OTA, together with hotel brands, do a better job of sharing data from those guest touchpoints?
Well, I'll hit on the first half of it. I think it's a real challenge. I'll tell a personal story there. Actually, my parents are traveling to Arizona and staying at the Wyndham Grand Westward Look, which is a phenomenal hotel. And my dad made a reservation, and I said, "Don't forget, you should, to book directly with the hotel." And he said, "Oh, I did. I booked it right with the hotel." I said, "Great, forward me the reservation. I'll make sure the general manager knows you're coming." And he forwards it to me, and it's a Hotels.com reservation. And I said, "Dad, I told you to book with the hotel." And he said, "I did. I Googled the hotel name. This came up. I booked directly on the hotel's page." So I think, this is just one of many examples of guests really not understanding the difference between who they're booking with. It's a real challenge at the front desk when folks are looking to modify or cancel prepaid reservations that are through third parties or even through opaque sites. And certainly we get it on the original question was about calls, and we get it every day, all day, where people don't understand who they've booked their reservation with or who they're calling. And that's not just the hotel versus Hotels.com or Expedia.com, but also are they getting the hotel front desk versus one of our contact centers? So a big challenge, and something that I think as an industry, we're all going to need to keep doing a better job on educating customers so that they're not disappointed at any point through through their stay cycle.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with your story. We're happy to have your dad as a customer.
Well, we can talk about that one later, but...
No, I completely agree with Noah. I think the flip side happens too. It's kind of like if folks who shop through us think we're more like an Amazon for travel, depending on which brand they go to, then they're kind of like, I just don't care. Like, just take care of my service issue. Like, I don't care if it's Wyndham's problem or your problem or whoever, just take care of it. So there are cases where we need to refer people to the supplier directly, et cetera, and that frustrates them as well. So it is a challenge, I can say, you know, in an industry that I'm not familiar with until I joined Expedia a couple of years ago. Being a middleman has its challenges as well, just as much as I'm sure we put, you know, I know we put pressures on the suppliers like Wyndham to have to recover from the fact that it was a level of indirection when the customer booked with us. So it's a challenge. I think we have to be careful about how we share data between the two companies because, you know, the customer doesn't even know Travelocity and Hotels.com are run by the same company. So if we did any data sharing between the two of them, that would raise their eyebrows at the very least. So I think we just need to be careful on anything we thought of between the supplier and us, you know, above and beyond like the core booking that we share with them. We just have to be really careful because we have privacy and we're crossing company boundaries. So I think whoever asked the question hit on a big dilemma, and I don't think we have all the answers, but I'm sure Noah spends a lot of time thinking about it. I know I do.
Great. Well, I think we've come to the end of the webinar. Thanks everyone for submitting your questions. And yeah, well, many of the critical issues that we have discussed today will also be further dissected at EyeforTravel's North America Summit happening on the 19th and 20th of October at Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas. Noah and Jay will both be part of our expert speaker lineup and will be presenting on our keynote sessions at the event. For now, on behalf of EyeforTravel, thanks once again, Noah and Jay, for your time, and a big thank you to all of you who've listened in this morning. We hope you have enjoyed the last hour and have a great rest of the day.